Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today, I, Roxanara Parveen, Senior Lecturer, Department of Biology, Milestone College, welcome you to the class from Chapter 9 from Biology second paper. Today's topics are the roles of reproductive hormones in human reproductive systems and related issues. After learning this topic, we'll get to know the specific hormones functions in male reproductive system, roles of hormones in female reproductive system, and regulations in menstrual cycle and puberty. So let's know the basic about the reproductive hormone. It's a kind of hormone which is involved in fertility and sexuality. Reproductive hormones are usually made in the ovaries in females and testes in males. Female reproductive hormones include the estrogen and progesterone mainly. They help to develop and maintaining the female sexual characteristics and play important roles in the menstrual cycle, fertility and pregnancy. Male reproductive system on the other hand, are totally dependent on male reproductive hormones such as testosterone, which help and maintain the male sexual characteristics, and it helps to make the sperm in the testes. Some reproductive hormones may also be made in the laboratory and to be used to treat the certain medical conditions. Well, here is the list of some important reproductive hormones. At first, we need to mention the hormones names which are secreted from hypothalamus and pituitary gland. The pituitary glands are the leading hormones which have the influence over other glands. For example, ACTH. It stimulates the adrenal gland to produce a hormone called cortisol. This is also known as corticotropin. TSH or thyroid stimulating hormone stimulates the thyroid gland to secrete its own hormone, which is also called the thyroxine. TSH is known as thyrotropin too. Growth hormone stimulates the growth and repairing. It also helps in the growth of different reproductive systems or different the organs involved in the systems. So ADH, which controls the blood fluid and mineral level in the body by affecting water retention by the kidney. This hormone is called also vasopressin or arginine vasopressin. And lastly, oxytocin from the pituitary gland affects the uterine contraction during pregnancy and childbirth and subsequent release of breast milk. There are some more hormones which are called LH and FSH secreted from pituitary gland, which have the impact over ovaries in women and testes in men. These hormone control reproductive functioning and sexual characteristics. It stimulates the ovaries to produce estrogen and progesterone and the testes to produce testosterone and sperm. They are collectively called the gonadotrophins. Okay, then prolactin hormone or PRL, whose target is the breast, which stimulates the breast to produce milk. This hormone is secreted in large amounts during pregnancy and breastfeeding, but it is also present in all times in both males and females, but it is activated only for females. Right, let's move on to the next endocrine glands other than pituitary gland. Thyroxine. Thyroxine hormones are secreted from thyroid glands, whose actually functions to control many body functions, especially the metabolism, heart rate, control, temperature, and other roles in calcium deposition and metabolism of calcium in the different parts of the body, especially in the bones. Lastly, we may for females there are two separate gonads called ovaries, two ovaries, and for males two testes. Estrogen is secreted from ovaries. Estrogen facilitates the growth of the tissues of the sex organs and other tissues related to reproduction. And estrogen also acts to strengthen bones and has a protective effect on the heart. Here are some notes. You may mention the notes. Actually, you may consider this one for important basis for answering MCQs. You may have some notes on this. I want to focus on the last point here is the progesterone, which stimulates the growth of the endometrial lining of the uterus in order to prepare it for pregnancy. A strong surge of LH at around day 14 of the cycle triggers ovulation of an egg from the most mature follicle. Okay, so here are the more notes about the FSH and LH and luteotropic hormones. You may have some notes on these too. I need to flip fast. FSH is secreted in greatest amount in the first half of the menstrual cycle. That means you know that what is menstrual cycle. I'll come later in detail, view or an information on this. So FSH is secreted in the greatest amount in the first half of the menstrual cycle. That means suppose this is the day 1 of the menstrual cycle, which the day 1 means menstrual cycle starts here, and from this day we need to count up to 14 days, or that means first half 14 to 15 days. At this position FSH secretion is higher and LH has its peak of the secretion at mid-cycle, that means on the day 14 and 15. It is believed that the subsequential action of SH and LH causes ripening of the follicle and ovulation. That means for ovulation, FSH and LH play significant roles in females, and most of the fertility depends on this hormone secretion. In some animals, LTH, that means luteinizing hormone, is necessary for maintenance of the corpus luteum. But in women under treatment for infertility, ovulation has been successfully induced with FSH and LH alone. So you know the importance of this thing. Okay. The pituitary gland stimulates the ovary to produce estrogen and progesterone, I already mentioned. And these hormones have greater impact on the overall performance, growth and development, and their functions, specifically on the reproductive system and secondary sexual characteristics in males and females. So here are some notes on this. This is the note about the anterior pituitary gland. Is connected to, by its stalk to the hypothalamic region of the brain. The hypothalamus part of the brain secretes the, especially the leading hormones called the releasing hormones. You already know from the previous class. In the previous class was on hormones. You know details about it, I hope so. So have a look on this and you must review. Okay. The anterior lobe secretes many important hormones. I already mentioned as a chart. You have a look on this. Yes. Now we'll discuss about the female hormones. The sex hormones, together with the hypothalamic region of the forebrain and the pituitary gland, from the regulatory system, which is most complex in female mammals. It is common for the sexual activity of vertebrates to be cyclical and for the cycles to be coordinated with the seasons of the year. This ensures that the young are born at the most favorable time. That means it is signaled genetically before the birth of the baby in case of viviparous or oviviparous, or in oviparous animals. You may search in the Google for about the terms. However, this is the overall hormones impact, not only for humans but also for other mammals. Here that's the functions of estrogens. Okay, the estrogens are the type of gonadal hormones, that means specially for the reproductive glands. Gonad mean reproductive glands. Estrogens and progesterones are secreted in the female mammals. Okay, and there are some special functions and impact on the menstrual cycle too. Have a look on this. I mentioned there in the first session. What about the progestins? Okay, the progestins of which one of the most important progesterone, are concerned with the maintenance of pregnancy. Progesterone therefore evolved, in viviparous mammals. What is viviparous mammals? Okay, those who they produce living youngs, those who give birth to youngs, not laying by the laying eggs or not by external fertilization. Okay, its chemical origin is demonstrable, and since it's also an important intermediate compound in the biosynthetic pathways leading to corticoid and estrogen production. Okay, here are some notes about the male hormones. The sex hormones of the male follow a much simpler pattern than those who, follow in case of the females. That means the female reproductive system is much complex than the male one. Yeah, although the same principle of interaction exists between the pituitary gland and the gonads. Same way, the latter organs, the testes, secrete steroids called androgens, which are responsible for the maintenance of male characteristics and behavior. Okay, and they have a greater impact on the production of mature sperm. Yes, under the influence of LH, the interstitial tissues secretes the steroid hormone testosterone, which is the most important vertebrate androgen. In addition to promoting male characteristics, male behavior, and maintenance of the spermatic tubules, testosterone, in the presence of normal amounts of growth hormone, also promotes growth of the body skeleton. The reason for the rapid growth at puberty is that the secretion of androgen markedly increases. The hormone brings about the closure of the epiphysis or the ends of the long bones, which completes the process of growth. Thus, as often occurs among animals, growth ceases before the full reproductive activity is attained, and complete competition between two processes, both of which make heavy demands upon the sources of the body, is avoided. Here are some key points related to hormone functions and dysfunctions. And write down some definitions over there. Inhibin, testosterone, puberty, Sertoli cells, Leydig cells, follicle stimulating hormones, luteinizing hormones, corpus luteum, menopause, endometrium layer of uterus, estradiol, menstruation. Right. Let's focus on the male reproductive system cycle. The cycle is simpler, as I told before, than the female reproductive system. At first, the hypothalamus part of the brain secretes, some releasing hormones called gonadotropin hormone, GnRM, gonadotropin hormones. Okay, so over these hormone is secreted over the anterior pituitary to signal to secrete LH and FSH over, testes. Okay, so anterior pituitary gland secretes luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone over Leydig cells and some Sertoli cells to increase spermatogenesis. So here is the information is very clear that spermatogenesis rates, the rate of the spermatogenesis depends on the proper secretion of LH and FSH secreted from an anterior pituitary gland. And here is the supportive ideas over there. Have a look. The male during adolescence stimulates spermatogenesis, or the process of sperm production in the testes starts during adolescence. Secondary sexual characteristics including the deepening of the voice, the growth of facial, axillary and pubic hair, and the beginning of sex drive. A negative feedback system occurs in the male with rising level of testosterone acting on the hypothalamus and anterior pituitary to inhibit the release of gonadotropin releasing hormone, subsequently followed by FSH and LH. Okay, so positive and negative feedbacks are very essential. Right. Now we need to learn about the female reproductive systems. you see the central, red colored organ, triangular muscular thick organ is called uterus, which is connected bilaterally with two tubes called fallopian tubes, each headed towards the ovary. Each ovary secretes one ovum, mature ovum, towards the fallopian tubes, each every after 1 month. That means if the ovum secretes over during the middle of the menstrual cycle of the January month of January, and the next would be in the in the February, not in the same month, normal, but exception exists over there. However, here is the phases of menstrual cycle. In female reproductive cycle, it's more complex than male one. It is divided into 3 phases. First phase is called follicular phase. Follicular phase means during period when the period starts at the phase day 1, hypothalamus part of the brain secretes gonadotropin releasing hormones. Here you see GnRH over the anterior pituitary gland to secrete LH and FSH over the ovaries and follicles. The follicles are lied over the ovaries, so you may mention the follicles only, no problem here. Yeah. So the follicles, send 2 types of feedbacks. First one is positive feedback over the uterus, the endometrium layer of the uterus, by secreting estradiol to to start the thickening process. At the same time, estradiol is secreted over the hypothalamus to send the signals to the brain that they have to actually decrease the rate of the gonadotropin releasing hormones. Okay, and here are some effects. You may have some notes on these. Right, so I need to go next. Next portion is called ovulation. Okay, so ovulation is known as the pituitary hormone effect. That means mostly here you see there is no negative feedback. Okay, hypothalamus releases the same way the gonadotropin hormone over anterior pituitary gland. Anterior pituitary gland secretes 2 hormones, LH and FSH, over the follicles of ovaries. The follicles send the positive feedbacks towards the endometrium layer of uterus through the estradiol, and the same way positive feedbacks towards the hypothalamus to go forth. Ovarian hormone effects. Growing follicles begin to produce high levels of estradiol, which stimulate the gonadotropin releasing secretion by the hypothalamus. LH and FSH levels rise, resulting in ovulation about a day later, cause the endometrium to thicken. That means that's the important phase of ovulation, and at that moment the favorable environment inside the endometrium layer of uterus starts to nourish and to give to provide the shelter of the growing embryo or the blastocyst of human being. Okay, that's the phase 3. That is called luteal phase, or the last phase of the female reproductive system in humans. Hypothalamus part of the brain secretes gonadotropin hormone the same way. Then next anterior pituitary gland over the corpus luteum. Here corpus luteum, not the on the follicle cells, right? So LH and FSH are secreted over the corpus luteum, which initiates to secrete estradiol and progesterone over the endometrium layer, and at the same time by the progesterone and estradiol negative feedbacks are sent to anterior pituitary gland and hypothalamus to decrease the secretion level. Okay, so here the effects. LH stimulates the growth of a corpus luteum from follicular tissue left behind after ovulation. And ovarian hormone effects. The corpus luteum affects the corpus luteum secretes estradiol and progesterone hormone that, number 1, blocks the gonadotropin releasing hormone production by the hypothalamus, and LH and FSH production by the pituitary, and number 2, causes the endometrium layer to further develop. Here is the map, or you can easily understand the overall situation of the follicle effect, follicular development, menstrual cycle, endometrium layer development, and so on. The first line is about the ovarian cycle phases, right? Here is the at the middle you see the day 14, that means the day of menstrual, 14th day of the day of menstrual cycle, not the first day. You just focus at the middle of the chart, okay? Follicle during follicular phase. At first the follicle grows and follicle is released at the day 14 of the starting date of the menstrual cycle. Follicle is released, that means the ovum gets freed inside the fallopian tubule, and during the luteal phase corpus luteum forms, then degenerates. Here the next chart is about the uterine cycle phases. Here are 5 uterus, showing that the different phases of the menstrual cycle and the layer thickening. First uterus is showing that the menstrual flow starts. Second is proliferative phase. At this moment the wall is totally thin. The day 14 thickening is actually started from the few last 46 days, and the day 14 it's in a moderate situation of thickening in the uterus, and during the secretory phase from in between the 14th day and 28th day. This in this case you see the thickening started, and at the during the day 28th of the first day of the period, the uterine internal wall or the endometrial layer is the most thick condition. And here is showing the chart or the graphical position or line graph shows the different hormonal effects. The orange colored is FSH and red colored is LH. Let's focus. Okay, the hormonal level. When the at this moment, the same way, pituitary hormone levels is here at the plateau from the day 0 the towards the day 10th, then it slightly decreases. I'm mentioning the FSH situation, slightly decreases. At the day 14 it peaks, it gets the peak, right? Then at this moment ovulation starts, and on the other hand the level of the LH secretion is very low and remain unchanged or steady or plateau. It gets highest level during the day 13 to 14th. That means here the blue color is showing the equal situation where both of the hormones meet at the same rising level. Okay, this is very easy. And from the day 14 both of the hormones level secretion decreases, and at the day 20th they LH become plateau at the lower level like the before, and FSH getting lower and it's slightly rising the day 28th. And the last yellow colored is line is showing the estradiol and progesterone. You see the development very easily. Follicular phase. This diagram is about the follicular phase and the menstruation, ovulation, day 1 to day 14. And the next diagram is about the luteal phase, showing the developmental and releasing phase of the day 14 to day 28. And here is the cyclic order, showing the overall follicle secretion. And there's a very important and interesting information about menstrual cycle. In fetal development, I repeat, in fetal development in females, meiosis 1 begins but is arrested or stops once the primary oocyte develops. The arrested meiotic periods begin again at puberty. I guess that you couldn't get it, right? Yeah. During spermatogenesis and oogenesis, you got to know the detail about the ovum secretion, right? You got two phases, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2, or we will get in the next class. However, meiosis 1 is ceased during until puberty. That means female reproductive system, that means ovulation, the procedure of the ovulation starts at the fetal development, means the females when they are in the mother's womb or in the uterus, during fetal condition meiosis 1 occurs. But that means oogenesis starts, but up to meiosis 1 it stops, and it again starts during puberty. But in males, the overall development of the sperm production or spermatogenesis starts during puberty, not during fetal stage. That's the diagram about the pituitary gland, and that is the follicular secretion and ovulation. Okay, that's the end of the today's class. I hope that you could understand everything, and this class is of course is filled with a lot of information and reviews and notes and graphs, tables, charts, definitions, points, information, so on. And the source of this information is Encyclopedia Britannica, Wikipedia, and your textbooks. And it is suggested to follow your textbooks because you have to answer from this book, and this video is all about your book. I just collected some important notes so that you can understand everything in details, and you can understand the MCQ tricks wherever they come from. Right, this moment I wanna actually tell you something about the STEM related, which may incriminate at your final exam. Suppose it's mentioned at the STEM that there are some important biochemical substances found in human body which have important impact or serious impact on the reproductive system, right? So for C or D you may have the question like explain the roles of these ever mentioned chemicals in reproductive system, or male or female, right? It's very common to come in separate way for male or female, but you may get the common questions too, so you may shorten up, no problem. What about the menstrual cycle related question? Of course, this graph is very important to know. If you can practice a lot about this